Okay, we have a 10 minutes game. I'm a bit out of practice because I didn't play like in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So mm, this is a 1300 opponent, and let's try the King's Indian attack because I think it's not that kind of a huge opening battle. I want to avoid an opening fight now, and I just want to get yeah, a nice game on board. So e5 maybe, and yeah, I mean, if he doesn't fight for the center, I can try to play d4, and I need to support the e4 pawn. However, I can do it with a knight or with a rook, and I think I prefer to do it with a knight. Knight can't go to c3 anyway. Um, the whole setup he's playing is yeah, some kind of usual setup against this King's Indian attack. He will play b5, b4, and open some lines here on the queen side. A4 is just the purpose that if he plays b5, that I will take on b5, and then I have the open file for my rook. b6 is not that much for playing the bishop to b7, but I think to play it to a6 and then attacking here on d3, and on this diagonal I can't move the pawn because then the rook would be hanging. So I think now it's time to play rook e1 to support the e-pawn, and I want to play e5 sooner or later, and maybe d4. And I think the rook is in good shape here on e1, and the knight maybe jumps to f1, e3, d5, and here as expected he attacks d3. So well, I think here are two options, maybe even three, just like I thought first of knight f1, then the queen protects d3, and the other is to play d4 to get more space in the center. But I think another option is to play knight to c4, and I'm not afraid if he takes here, because then first I have the bishop pair, and secondly there's pressure on this file here. If he takes, I take back. He can't play e6 or e5 because the pawn on d6 would be hanging. I think I played knight c4. I like this. Maybe he likes to take on c4 now to destroy my pawn structure, but I think this double pawn is not bad, because it really makes it difficult for him to play d5, and at the same time it's maybe more easy for me to play e5 myself. So he threatens now to play maybe e5, and this square on d5 is maybe a good outpost for knight. And if I play e5, the bishop would be strong on this diagonal as well. But e5 now, is it really something I want to play now? I mean, he takes, I take back, he takes. Is it good for me? I'm not sure. Maybe he just plays d5 afterwards. I think I'd just develop first. And if he allows me to do so, I'll play queen d2 afterwards. Okay. If I play bishop f4, I think maybe he will play e5. And if I play bishop e3, he might choose to play knight g4. But I play it anyway. Okay. Maybe h3 in the next move, and then queen d2. Okay, he wants really to play d5, but if he plays d5, I can play bishop f4, and this would be very annoying for him. So let's play h3 first, then queen d2, and then attacking here. I didn't like to play queen d2 directly, because after knight g4 black would be able to exchange. Okay, so yeah, here I had the idea to play bishop f4, pinning the queen and the rook and penetrating here into the dark squares. And he can't play e5 because it's just protected 2 times and I take it 3 times. Question is if I shouldn't take here because then he takes with a knight. Yeah, so bishop f4 directly should be almost winning here. I have 5 minutes left, so no reason, you know, to get afraid some time constraints. Okay, it seems that he really overlooked this. I mean, the good thing is he can't do anything like exchanging here on c4 or something, because the queen is attacked. And okay, maybe he wants to play knight h5, but it's all too slow. Yeah, I can just attack here. And I have some nasty moves with this knight. If he takes, for example, I can jump to g6 because the bishop would attack again the queen. So this is really annoying now for black. I mean, he really played very quickly. So he just had spent like 1.5 minutes until this move, d5, and now he starts to think. But it's a bit late now. I mean, now his position is already difficult. So should I take with a knight and then maybe jump? Oh no, I just grabbed the exchange, and I think my position is that good that it shouldn't be a problem to win. And now maybe jumping to c6 later. First I jump to e5, attacking the queen, then I will take on d5, and maybe supporting the knight on with d4. This knight is very strong, and this bishop here might also get into the game now. I mean, it's a bit looking into the air if these 2 pawns disappear, but I mean, I think it's a bit stronger than this bishop. If you look at the bishop, 3, 4, 5 squares, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this diagonal. And let's take this pawn now. And now I wanted to support the knight with d4. Or is it better to play knight c4? Just to exchange the rook here and to threaten something like d6. This pawn might get really strong. And if this bishop disappears, this might be a very good bishop as well. Yeah, I want to get rid of the rook, so let's exchange some pieces. And if you play something like rook d8, maybe I just play knight e3 to support this pawn. Or I directly play d6. Yeah, d6 looks good. If he plays rook d8, d6 maybe, and then I can penetrate here on the 7th rank with the rook. This pawn might get a bit weak though. But this is another weakness. It's not that easy. d6, d6, attacks the queen. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Okay, I will support this pawn. I think this is more important now, because it's a strong pawn. I want to keep it. I want to play c4 afterwards, and then this is a killer in the endgame. This bishop is doing nothing now, and I can play maybe. Yeah, I will just bring my heavy pieces now on the e-file. Okay. He attacked with a bishop. He attacked b2, but it's not really a threat. Maybe he wants to sacrifice here, but it's no danger at the moment as well. So what we will do now is playing a bit quicker and then doubling rooks on the e-file, penetrating here on the 7th rank, and then game is over. Yeah. So if I move the knight, he can sacrifice here. So let's protect g3 again. And then I could play something like knight c2 later, or knight to g4. I could also try to kick this knight again away with a bishop f3 or something. But there's not threatening anything, so let's double the rooks now. Next move will be rook a1 to e1. What is he doing? I don't see any threats. Okay, let's continue. The knight would also be good on e4, but this would be a long journey. Maybe knight c2, but then I first need to play something like b3. I sacrifice this pawn. I don't need this pawn. Now speed is very important, I think. Because if he plays f4, this might get a little bit tricky here for me. Okay, let's get rid of this bishop. This was a very strong piece, and now everything here falls apart. So queen h6, maybe rook e6 next. If he takes, taking here, all this really looks good for me. Yeah.
Check.
Just walking away and then checkmating him. I have 2.5 minutes left. His king is a bit lonely here. And I threaten something like taking here, checkmate. Alright, taking here.
Check.
And then d6 with the horrible threat of playing bishop d5 check. Even if he takes here, shouldn't be a problem.
Check.
Okay, and that's it. Next move is
Black resigns.
a mate on g7. I think in this game it's all about bringing your pieces into the game or into the attack, like awakening your pieces. If we go back a bit, like in this position, you still see that this knight is not doing that much. It would be great to exchange it against this bishop, because this bishop is quite good here on d4. It also attacks f2. It aims at my kings in some way, and maybe also if he maybe he sacrifices here, I can't go with my king to g1 if this knight escapes. So this bishop is a good piece. It would be good to exchange it, and this rook is not into the game. So this is what I tried to do first, to bring in my pieces, to bring them into the better position. And here I want to get rid of this bishop, and this worked. And now if you look at the pieces, all my pieces are good. These two rooks are excellent here on the e file. It's the only open file on the whole board. So if it's possible, just try to bring your rooks to the open file, and then you can penetrate here on the 6th or 7th rank. often the 7th rank is even better. So and the other thing is the queen attacks h6, and that's what I did next move. So this looks also already very, very dangerous for black. The only piece that is not doing that much at the moment is the bishop here on g2, but it will awake once it's possible to play or sacrifice even this pawn. Then bishop d5 is like a killer move. Just imagine this pawn is away. I could play already bishop d5, and yeah, what will black do? It's like a checkmate. Yeah, he can play bishop e6. I will take with the bishop then. If he takes, I take back with the rook. So bishop d5 would also be decisive. And black, he can't do that much, and his only chance is, you know, to break up here my position, and that's what he does. And I think it's good that he tries something at least. And here maybe rook e7 is also maybe even better. But I just looked at this pawn. I wanted to get this pawn because I thought everything crumbles afterwards. And I was not afraid about him playing here on taking here on g3 and even taking this pawn. This pawn might get strong, yeah, but the thing is I have a very, very strong attack. So the game is virtually over. So after king h1, yeah, I don't need to take this pawn. He needs to take care about me taking here. And if he moves the queen, I just play rook g6, and if let's assume he plays king f7, I could play queen h7. It's a check, and afterwards I could play rook g8 with a checkmate if he moves the king on here on the 8th file, or at least I win a lot of material. And yeah, then I think the nice trick here is also to play d6 now. It's the last piece that is missing in the attack. It's a bishop on g2 that was not doing that much the whole game. You know, it was just protecting more or less my king. But in the end, just by playing d6, opens this diagonal, and on d5, it's just a killer bishop. So the game is over. He can't do anything. If he plays, for example, yeah, now queen f7, I can just take here with my queen on g7, and it's a mate because his queen cannot take because it's pinned. So bring in all your pieces, awake your pieces. Don't focus that much on material in the end. Don't waste time. Bring in your pieces to attack the opponent, and yeah, have faith in this.